I got into film really by accident, a fortunate sense, a fortunate series of events. I wanted to become a diplomat because I had been born, my parents are both American, but I was born abroad and I grew up amongst a more European community. And when I went back to the United States when I was 15, I was a bit shocked by it, and I decided that I would study to become a diplomat. So I took what we call political science and the Russian language, and I passed all the exams for the State Department, which is your foreign service. But they said I was way too liberal politically to be happy in that job. We were protesting the Vietnam War and supporting Martin Luther King in the South, and they thought that I would be unhappy. They were probably right. So I went back to do some graduate work, but I then saw an ad in the New York Times, and this never happens, for someone from Los Angeles saying that he wanted to train a film editor in New York. And you will never see that ad again. I answered the ad, and he was butchering the great films of Fellini, Truffaut, Visconti from Europe for late night television slots, because he wanted them to fit in between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. And so he would just take a whole reel out of a movie like Rocco and His Brothers, a great movie by Visconti. And I was horrified by what he was doing. I said, "You can't do that." And he said, "Well, nobody's looking at these movies at 2 in the morning, but Martin Scorsese was, and unknown to me. And so I was disgusted by him and I left the job, but I saw an ad for a New York University film school, just a 6 weeks course in the summer, and I thought I can just barely afford that. So I took it. I wasn't on Scorsese's student film project, I was on another one, but someone had butchered his negative of his student film. And because I had learned a little bit about negative cutting on this awful job, the professor asked, "Is there anyone here who can help him restore his film?" And I said, "Well, I'll try." And that's how I accidentally met him. So it was an incredible series of fateful events, luckily for me, that occurred. And once I met him and he saw that he could trust me, I think, to do what's right for his movies, we began to work together, and 50 years later, I'm still working for him, thankfully. I had seen some classic films on a wonderful program in America called Million Dollar Movie, where they ran the same movie 9 times in 1 week. And Scorsese was obsessed with this channel, of course, and that's where he saw the films of my late husband, Michael Powell, and Emmerich Pressburger. He first saw them there, and when he would see their logo, which was a target with an arrow thudding into it, he said, "Oh, this is going to be a really interesting movie." And he would watch it 9 times until his mother said, "If you don't turn that off, I'm going to kill you." And I was actually watching those movies too, at the same time, but I didn't even know who he was. It was when I met him, he truly became the reason I became a filmmaker. He trained me, he taught me everything I've ever known about film editing, and his deep, passionate love of the history of film is something he infected me with, and then actually introduced me to my husband, Michael Powell. So I've had all the luck anyone could have in the world. It is a wonderful creative process between the two of us. We just constantly are exchanging ideas and doing, as I said, what's right for the film. You know I bring a great deal to him. He relies heavily on me. And it's not a matter of one person having creative control or something, because when you're in a collaboration, it's going back and forth all the time. We make 200 decisions a day when we're editing, and it's a joint collaboration that's very important. It's just the best job in the world. His films are always different. He never repeats himself. Each film is a new challenge. Nothing could be more different than Silence and the movie I'm working on now, The Irishman. So it's just the most wonderful job in the world. I'm so lucky to have it. I've worked on 24 movies with him. I read the script only once because I want to see what he is bringing to the film as he shoots it, because he does not put into the script a great deal of what he's going to do in the movie. I don't want to be bound either by a book, if the film is based on the book, or the script, because I know that when he gets on the set, the film starts to expand and grow. And my job first is to look at the dailies every day that he shot the day before, and he wants me to let him know if there's anything I feel is wrong, or which hardly ever happens. And just, he wants my perspective, so that's why I don't go on the set very much. First of all, because I don't have time to go. I love to be on the set because I love watching him work with actors. Many of those actors have become friends over the years, so I love to watch that, but I don't have time. And also, he would rather I have a cold perspective on what has been shot. I'm not there knowing that the sun is going down and the horse just fell over and the actor is sick and all that. I should not be affected by that. I should see what he got on film. And so then the most important early part of the film is when he looks at the dailies with me, and he gives me incredible stream of thoughts about what he has done. I write like the wind, fortunately. And so I tell him what I think, he tells me what he thinks, and as he's telling me what he thinks about each shot, he'll say, I'm trying to move this actor a little bit more to a different performance here, or I think I got it in the sixth take, or I hate that shot, don't ever show it to me again. He's very tough on himself, which is quite remarkable. But during that process, he tells me his conception for the film, what his overall feeling for the film is, and that is incredibly valuable to me. So from those notes and my own notes, I start to do the first assembly of the film as he's shooting. And then when he's through shooting, his favorite part of filmmaking is editing. And so he and I edit the film together, and it's a great joy, I can tell you. And as I said, it's just a very lively, wonderful interplay of ideas, all working towards the same goal, which is what is right for the movie. I think the most wonderful thing about editing is that you're given all this raw material, and it's your job to make choices, in this case, along with Scorsese, into how to focus the scene. When do you cut to a close-up of one actor rather than the other? When do you use wide shots? For example, Scorsese in a famous scene in Goodfellas where Joe Pesci says, "What's so funny about me?" A very interesting thing that Marty did there was he shot that in medium shots. There are no close-ups in that sequence, because he knew that what the reactions of the people around Joe Pesci and Ray Liotta were reacting to the sense of danger that was building as Pesci just kept saying, "What's so funny about what's it?" That you almost feel that Ray Liotta may get killed there. And the reactions of the people around him who are laughing at first and then stop laughing. That's why Scorsese shot it in medium shots, not close-ups. And that's something students need to learn. Everything doesn't have to be a close-up. You have to know how to use the medium properly. So anyway, all those decisions we make about how to shape a sequence, it's the most incredibly creative act anybody can have, I think. I think editors need a strong sense of discipline, a musical sense, which fortunately I had been trained to play instruments and the piano. So Scorsese has a great gift for putting music to films, and I think that is very important. You have to obviously have a gift for it, but you also have to cooperate with the other filmmakers on your film, particularly the director. Your job is to get his vision up on the screen. You have to give him his chance to do it the way he wants to first. Then he's usually able to see if that doesn't work and you come up with another solution. Sometimes when Scorsese comes in, I've created 4 different edits of a scene for him because there are so many options, and then together we decide which option to use. But your job must be, you have to not, I think, let your ego play too much of a role in this, because your job is to do what's right for the film. That's most important.